You love making your content, don't you? You're never ever gonna quit making your content, are you? You're confident that you will eventually blow up. However, the video you put tons of effort into will get less views than that worst shitty little video you make. The results are very disconnected from the action. And as a result of being confident you will eventually succeed, but not being able to do any more work to succeed faster, you are essentially just waiting to be able to blow up and succeed. And that also causes you to not lock in and be pretty inconsistent. And none of this is your fault. You're just larping Hamza way too much. You got what I call Gear 5 romanticization. In this video, I'm going to reveal to you how Hamza is teaching you to do what he is currently doing and not what he did. I'm also going to show you how Hamza started in Gear 1 and how you too can also start in Gear 1 and copy what Hamza did so that you can stop LARPing him and actually hit your first 2K per month ASAP. What's going on, bro? My name's Sam Walford and I'm a 17-year-old dropout entrepreneur from the UK. And I help self-improvement creators exactly like you to hit their first 2K per month online. I'm at 10K per month myself. I've already helped over 500 guys exactly like you. And I promise you, if you pay attention, this video will change your life. So you want a big educational audience who you can sell a product to so that you can make automatic money while helping people and have your full-time freedom. And to obviously build that big audience, you ideally need three things. Firstly, there is having experience within your niche, having helped people before in your niche, knowing their problems. Secondly, it's having money to invest into your content, hiring an editor, hiring a thumbnail designer. And thirdly, there is time and consistency, doing both of those two things over a long period of time. Now, if you have all three of those things, then that will, guess what? It'll cause you to start getting some solid views. But then guess what? When you start getting those views will then cause you to get more experience, money, and consistency. And that right there is a feedback loop. So if you have experience, money, and consistency, we'll just call that EMC. If you have EMC, you'll get views. The views cause more EMC. The EMC causes more views. This is how people blow up. If we map this feedback loop onto a graph here, because you don't have much EMC right now or many views right now, you're gonna kind of stay at a standstill because you think not much EMC, not many views, is not really moving very fast. And so what happens is, you're this little red line here, and you're kind of flatlining, you're slowly growing a little bit. This is really how your growth is going, slowly growing a little bit, slowly growing a little bit, because you're getting a little bit of EMC, a little bit of views and so on, EMC views, it's a little bit. But you start to get a little bit more, you start to get a little bit more views, and there's a little bit more views maybe gets you to get a bit more money and a bit more, until eventually you sort of hit this critical mass point where you start to get more EMC and more views, and that causes more of the other, and it basically speeds up in an exponential manner. And so this is essentially how the graph of your progress will look. And you probably think, you look at other YouTubers who have blown up, you look at their, their analytics and everything, it always looks like there's ages with very, very little results, and then bang, just fucking blows up out of nowhere like that after all that time. That is because of this feedback loop. Because at 2K per month, you can drop out and quit your job and go full-time traveling with your business. You can hire an editor. You can eat the best, most perfect, most healthiest diet. You can meet up with the boys, and eventually you may meet your future wife while you're out there instead of being stuck in school. And also, you might eventually discover your deeper, truer purpose once you're free from the system. But while all that's just out of reach in the meantime, you're still stuck not being able to really immerse yourself. You gotta spend all this time being fucking broke, where you don't have your time freedom, where you're fucking stuck in school or stuck in your job, and you gotta spend all this time wasting your youth, your most valuable years of your life, where this dream life is just at 2K per month right there, and you're just here living a pretty shit life. But you've just got to wait. You've just got to wait for YouTube to work, right? You got to wait all this time, right? You see, doing content is like Gear 5 in a car. You can go 200 miles an hour. It's super scalable. You can make 200K per month, but you can't go 2 miles an hour with it because it's very low leverage. You can't make 2K per month with it. And you see Hamza living the fucking sick life he's living, making 100K per month in Bali, automatic money. And you're like, shit, I see what he's doing. I should copy what he's doing. And he fucking speeds past you at 100K per month, shouting at the window at you, "Hey bro, I'm in 100K per month. I'm speeding along at 100 miles an hour. I'm in Gear 5. You should also put your car in Gear 5. And then there's you in your little car, stuck in the mud, And you're like, oh, Hamza's at 100 miles an hour in gear 5. I should put my car in gear 5. And then your little stuck car, you put it in gear 5 and try and start it. And no matter how hard you push, it does not fucking move. And it's not the only content is gear 5. Within a business, you've got attraction of new people. You've got conversion of those people into clients. And then you've got delivery of like the product that you actually give them. And so a gear 5 method of attraction is of course content. A gear 5 method of conversion is a sales page. And a gear 5 method of delivery is a course, because all of these three are very, very scalable, but also relatively low leverage as well, because you need experience really, or like money to actually make them work. But of course, as we've established, you being in gear 5 and doing this, it will work eventually, but you're just gonna waste your youth. You're gonna spend years living how you currently are now, not succeeding before you win. And so we need to change something. We need to shift back down into gear 1. Now, Hamza himself actually started in gear 1 when he was in your position. I started with gear 1 as well. That's how I got to where I am. And it essentially involves decreasing the scalability and increasing the leverage. Essentially, before becoming the big alpha boss CEO where you got super high leverage in your decisions, you first need to be the intern. Before becoming the general who's in charge of all the other soldiers and has got very high leverage in his decisions, well, you first need to be the fucking soldier in the trenches. Before you can become Hamza for real and be able to just make content in gear 5 and live a sick life, you first need to go through the trenches in gear 1. We essentially just need to jumpstart this feedback loop so that we can get you to that 2K per month mark ASAP, get you a load of EMC, and then with that EMC, then cause you to eventually blow up. Now, before I tell you what gear 1 actually is, I want to tell you something else first. You're suffering from a very bad case of gear 5 romanticization. Essentially, because this dream of just waking up and recording your videos and loving your work and just sending it off to an editor and making automatic money is such a powerful dream within your head. You've essentially just got tunnel vision on that dream now. And you're essentially now repelled by any trench work, any really hard, menial work, because in your mind, you just want to fucking love your work and you have to do that if you want to be happy. You've romanticized this business model of doing content with a sales page and selling a course. And because of that, you've naturally become ignorant and you've got beliefs in your head now that what gear 1 actually is won't work for you, and that it's not worked, and it's not going to be fun, and it's not for you. Because when I tell you what gear 1 is, you are not going to like it. It's not going to be fun. There's going to be pain involved in that. And so I'm about to tell you what it is, but please be open-minded for now. And actually, what I want you to do is I want to get your hands out in front of you like this, and I want you to like half stand up, all right, like this. And get your hands and put them on your fucking ass and sit the fuck down and do not click off this video until you've heard me out. Because I'm trying to help you here, and so please don't be a bitch and be ignorant. Actually hear me out. So gear 1, which is very high leverage but very low scalability, is for attraction, doing outreach. For conversion, it's sales calls. And for the delivery, it's selling coaching, one-on-one coaching. Because it's such scary and hard work to be doing outreach and sales calls, that's probably why you haven't tried it yet. But the great thing about this is with outreach, if you want to get more traffic, you just send more messages. With YouTube, if you try and make a better video, you're probably not going to get more views, you know? However, the outreach is very linear. It's not very scalable, but it's very linear. You can just send more messages. With sales calls, it's much, much more work to be able to sell someone. However, it's much higher leverage because you're on a call with them there. All you got to do is basically sell them and convince them. And yes, it's hard, but you can sell then $1,000 coaching, $2,000, $3,000 coaching. And you're probably thinking, I can't charge that much prices. You probably know that's a limiting belief. You can charge very, very high prices. Okay, this is very, very hard work. However, it's very, very linear. And so with gear 1, because it's so linear, instead of spending all this time flatlining in gear 5 like you currently are, instead you can shoot up straight up to 2K per month in literally a couple of weeks. However, what happens there, because it's unscalable, well, you start to hit a bit of a plateau and then you sort of get stuck at 2K per month doing all the trench work and, you know, really grinding but only making 2K per month. But guess what we can do? We don't stay stuck in gear one. What do you do in a car where you hit the maximum of gear one? Well, you shift up the gears, and you can do this in business too, because at this point, you got the EMC, you got the experience, you got the money, and you're also going to have probably more consistency and more time to put in. I mean, at this point, you can drop out so you can put even more time into it. And then guess what you do? Then you start to do YouTube and Instagram organic content, okay? And you start to hire an editor and you get more experience in your niche. Because you're doing coaching, you get more experience. And so you start to get some EMC, and then because of that, you start to get some views. And then essentially what happens is you can get a blow up here. Because you remember what we said about all you need to do is hit that 2K per month threshold and then you blow up. That's what we do here. We hit that 2K per month threshold by starting in gear one. You grind a fuck ton now for just a couple of months. You stay in the trenches now. You get to 2K per month, and then you shift up into gear five. And this way you go through, you go through a lot of pain now. The pain is necessary to succeed. You just get through all the pain really fast by doing all the hard work now, instead of spreading the pain out along this long time and wasting your life. Because then of course, you get more experience by doing the coaching, and you're gonna hire an editor and a thumbnail designer, and then with the conversion, well, you could switch to a sales page and make a really good VSL with your new experience, or with your new money, you could hire a closer to take sales calls for you. And then with the delivery, let's say you're doing one-on-one coaching, and let's say you've got like 10 clients, there's loads and loads of clients. Well, instead of doing loads of different one-on-one calls with them all throughout the day, what you'll naturally start to do is you'll have all the same one-on-one calls on the same day. So they're all, organized, and it's all at the same time. They're all one after another, and so it's way easier for you. And then you'll be like, oh shit, if I'm just doing them one after another, why don't I just do a one big call that everybody on all at once? And then also you'll kind of realize for all the one-on-one clients, you're explaining the exact same things to them over and over again. And then once you do that and you get that experience, well, you might as well just record a video for them and get them to watch that video instead of explaining it all to them individually. And at that point, you're literally selling a course with group coaching, you're selling a program. Yeah? And so this shift will happen very, very naturally. This is a natural progression. And actually, Hamza himself started with this. Hamza himself started doing sales calls and selling one-on-one coaching. And that's how he hit his first $1,800 per month. And I remember he told me that personally. And with this, he hits that $1,800 per month. He hires his editor, Sam. Okay. He blows the fuck up. He sells that course, the aesthetic body course, and then guess what? He's making like 20K per month in gear five, loving life, but only because he started with that one-on-one coaching in the first place. You need to start with the unscalable work first. You can't just act like you're fucking righteous and that you don't want to do any hard work and try and avoid the pain and just start in gear five, because that's gear five romanticization, and the universe is not going to fucking reward you if you try and avoid the pain, because everybody has to go through this pain. Everybody has to go through the trenches first. You can't just act like you're fucking entitled to be able to make good videos like people should listen to you. No one's going to fucking listen to you and want to buy your shit if you've never ever actually coached someone before and you've never actually got experience in your niche. And to be completely transparent, one caveat with my whole mental model of the gears is that Hamza started with doing content. Hamza, at least of what I know of, never did any cold outreach. The reason I say to do outreach is because you've been doing content for so long now and it hasn't worked. With outreach, if you know what you're doing, you can just send more messages and you just get more traffic and it just fucking works. And so it is possible to start with content. However, if you've already been doing it for ages, it probably is a bit smart to switch. And if you've already got somewhat of an audience, well, that's great. You can outreach to your audience. You're probably feeling pretty uncomfortable right now because gear one is a very new thing. You're not really certain for what you should specifically do, where do you outreach? How do you outreach? Who do you send the messages to? What messages do you send? How do you get people on sales calls? What do you say on the sales calls? What script do you use? How do you objection handle? What should your coaching offer be? What price should you charge? Can you even charge high prices? How do you deliver coaching, to actually help people? You've got all these questions. You don't know what the fuck to actually specifically do. And that's completely fine. It's a new thing, so you shouldn't know what to specifically do. However, I can solve that problem for you. All my clients are guys exactly like you, young men with very little real credibility. You've got very, very little audience, but you want to make money online by helping people with some aspect of self-improvement. Now, my average client makes $3,700 in the first 60 days of working with me. And if you are like who I just described, like my current clients, then I can help you hit your first 2K per month with Gear 1 ASAP. And I am so certain that I can help you, that I work pay on results. And so if you are interested in working with me, there is a link below which explains a little bit more info where you can book a call with my team to hop on this offer. Now, if you're not interested in that, that is completely fine. I fully understand. However, you can get my entire course, which contains so much more value exactly like this, for completely free. There's a link for that in the description. It does require like an email and phone number sign up, but you can just fake that if you really, really want to, bro. I'm not going to be annoyed for you for that. Also, I'd really appreciate if you could subscribe so that you can see more videos like this on your feed. Have an amazing day, bro. Bye-bye.